Hey everyone, welcome to the Tech Editor Hub live stream with Melissa Metzbower. Today we are answering your questions about tech editing, especially editing for crochet patterns. Hold on just a second. I'm getting some bad background, Melissa. We're having some tech issues this morning, so thanks for being patient. I think there we go. That's a little better. Melissa, how are you? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
So my name is Melissa, and I am the teacher of Learn to Tech Edit Crochet over at the Tech Editor Hub, which Sarah so graciously hosts. And Sarah and I launched this class last year. I think it was last year. And so far we have had about 100 students go through the course, and we keep hearing success story after success story of this worked for me, and now I'm creating the business that I love and works for my lifestyle. So thank you all for joining us. I can't wait to answer any of your questions about tech editing, or even crochet tech editing in particular, or anything else related to that field.
And if you have questions, if you are watching live now and you have questions for Melissa and I about tech editing or anything about the course itself that is open right now for signups, then please throw it into the comments wherever you're watching from. And if you're watching on the Facebook page or in the Facebook group, it'll ask for permission to post to StreamYard. It's okay. Just click yes or whatever needs to happen. We do want to see your comments come through live. So let us know also where you're watching from. We are super excited to host in the Tech Editor Hub people from all over the world. This is not just the United States or North American thing. And our course has been used by people from everywhere. So we got Canada here and Michigan. We're so happy that you're here live. Melissa, you want to just jump into some questions that we got this over the last few weeks, because I think that might get questions rolling a little bit.
Absolutely. Do you have those handy, or would you like me to pull them?
I already have them on banners here.
Go ahead.
All ready to go. Let's go ahead and do the most basic things about the course. How often do you open this course?
So we like to open the course 3 times a year. Sometimes if we have a lot of emails requesting it, we'll open the course a 4th time just to the people on our email list. However, we usually open up in very early spring or February, which is more winter where I live, more spring where Sarah lives. So a lot of times we'll open up February, March, and then we will open up for a summer school class, which usually starts in the very beginning of June. And then we'll open up right now, September, for our back to school session. And then we do not have a course running, or the course is always running. It's always available to anybody who joins us, but we do not have a cohort of students that runs over the holidays, just because people are so busy. And then, like I said, again, if we have a lot of requests for an additional cohort of students to be open, then we might do that. But typically it's 3 times a year.
Awesome. So let's start in, the first thing is do crochet tech editors make the item that they are editing?
Typically, no. Every once in a while, if I am editing something with a tricky stitch pattern that I've not seen before, or I just want to double check that the instructions that I'm reading make the stitch pattern that I'm seeing, I'll just put my timer on pause the edit, grab a dishcloth cotton yarn, that my personal preference, dishcloth yarn, and an appropriate hook, and then make myself a swatch, which I just chuck it in my dishcloth bin and use it later. But then I can get a visual on what I'm seeing. But no, typically we make the item in our head as we're going through a pattern. So it's not a you don't end up with a physical item. Now, I did have a question this past month where somebody who was interested in the course asked me if you could make the item, like,
Yep,
could you
that was
be a
my next
tester?
question. Can I
Can
make
you
the
make it?
item?
You talk that over with your designer. I don't see why that would be a problem, but that is not typically tech editing. That would be more testing, which is a different set of skills that you use for testing versus tech editing. But yeah, I don't see any problem with it as long as you clear that with your designer and your expectations, them for you and you for them, are clear.
Yeah, and that's my experience too, is we don't make the thing. We receive the pattern and then work through it line by line, word
Mhm.
by word, space by space, number by number in our head, and we visualize it. Do you also use like pen and paper, or do you draw things out? I tend to like draw it on graph paper or something like
If
that.
If I need to, I've actually done that. I've charted something out on a piece of paper with a pen or a
Mhm.
pencil. And then one time I had a beautiful wedding gown and it had a big drape in the back, and I had a picture of just the
I
drape.
remember that drape.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So what I did was I enlarged it and I printed it off on my home printer, and then I went through that and I could see each stitch, and I
Match it.
edited stitch by stitch
Mhm.
and made sure that the written directions matched what was presented to me.
And that's a
So,
big part of what you teach in the course is
yeah,
matching the instructions to the pictures, to everything else that is given the maker so that when the maker is making it, it actually makes what it's supposed to make. And that's a big
exactly.
that is what tech editing is. That is what technical editing of yarn patterns is, and what we do and what we get paid for.
Yeah,
So
and there is no wrong way to do this. If it works for you, then it's your right way.
exactly. But we don't, because we charge by the hour for the most part. I mean, you don't have to
Mhm.
charge by the hour, but it is time consuming to make the item.
Yes.
So we're not testers. Testers is like you said, another skill. We work a little faster because we work in our head. So speaking of charts, let's go there.
Yes.
Do I need to know how to read and edit crochet charts in order to be an editor?
So you're going to need to know how to read crochet charts, which is not hard, and we go over that in the course. However, creating and or correcting crochet charts, that is not something that we do in the course.
Mhm.
That is a whole separate skill that is like an additional bonus if you're a tech editor and can offer that skill. That's typically actually not something I offer a whole lot, is creating crochet charts for clients, just because it's not my forte. And usually I refer a designer that needs a crochet chart made to one of my colleagues. However, if you're going to be editing a pattern with charts in it, you're going to need to know how to compare the little symbols in the chart to your written directions. And we got cheat. I can't talk this morning.
Cheat
We have
sheets.
cheat sheets. Yes, we have cheat sheets for all of this, and we do go over a simple chart in our one of our sample patterns.
Right, and
So
so that was
it's
another question that we got is are there reference sheets for frequently asked
yes,
questions for quick, easy
yes.
reference?
I've lost count of how many we've made. We have so many of them. If you end up joining the course, if you join us, print them off, throw them in a binder. I mean, they're
Mhm.
not going anywhere, but then you don't have to go look for them online on the course. Print them off, and then they're always there for you.
And the way the course is structured is really interesting. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
So it's a 7-week course, and we go through a complete pattern, top to bottom, line by line, but we go through it one section at a time. And each section is that week's learning experience. And what we do is we have first a video lesson, and we go through the pattern area that we're checking, and then we'll look at that same pattern area maybe in a couple different patterns that are not patterns that you need to edit. So if we're looking at checking that the yarn matches what is written, like what's the yarn, so you don't get the yarn label unless the designer actually sends you a picture of it. So what we do is, for a small example, is we'll see the yarn, the content, the weight of the yarn, the meterage or the yardage of the yarn, and then we'll go check that online in one of the reputable sites, and just compare and make sure that what is stated in the pattern is what is actually on the what would be on the ball band, and that's usually listed online. I've had a couple occasions where the yarn has not matched with the yardage and meterage or the weight. Maybe it'll be a 50-gram ball and the designer will have mislabeled it as a 100-gram ball. And so those things we mark, but we'll take a look at them on a couple different patterns, maybe a hat pattern, or just for example, or a toy pattern. But then you'll go back and your homework will be to take your sample pattern that is part of the course, your homework sample pattern, and you'll go through and check those areas that we have studied in that week's module. You'll go back and you'll check them in the pattern. And then once you're done checking that in the pattern, then you'll go and double check your version, your work, your answer, all of your markups to what we've got in our homework answer sheet. And it's all self-correcting. You don't have to send anything in. If you need to slow down, say something happens in your life and you need to put a pause on the course or slow way down, the course doesn't go anywhere. You'll still have access to all those modules. You just work through it at your own pace. If you want to speed up, maybe you've got something coming up and you need to speed things up, then you just talk to Sarah and she takes care of that for you.
Yeah, I can open up the modules.
But after the 7 weeks is completed, after you finished all of the week's modules, then you'll have completely edited a sweater pattern, top to bottom, line by line, and you'll have also edited the updated version that the designer sends to you. You're not really getting a pattern from the designer, but you know, one of the last modules is, hey, the designer made the corrections and sent you an updated version. Now you get to use your checklist, which is included in the course. That's one of our cheat sheets. And you'll go through the updated pattern with your cheat sheet line by line, just to test in practice. And then we have additional patterns that you can practice with as you see fit. And they also have answer keys. So you just use your knowledge and your skill that you've already acquired after 7 weeks and practice, and then practice and practice some more.
And so here's the cool part about it is the way that Melissa has structured this is you're actually learning how to work through a whole pattern systematically, and you're setting up your system for checking along with everything that Melissa's providing with the checklists and with instructions and with the spreadsheet tips and with what to check in a pattern. So while Melissa has given you the system for checking, you also can set up your own system as you're working through what works best for you. And lots of practice. I'm so excited.
Yes.
We just, Melissa just worked to add 3 more practice patterns. Let's see, it's a bag, a shawl, and what was the third one? I can't remember.
Oh, goodness.
But the fact of the matter is you have 4 patterns to work from, top to bottom, to practice your skills before you take on clients. And the great part about working in a course like this, like, you don't have to have a course to start tech editing, right? But to work in a course like this gives you the practice and the environment to make mistakes and to practice your system and to figure out, oh, is this really for me? Is this how I want to work? Or do I need to change things up a little bit to make it better fit my lifestyle or the way that I want to work? So
exactly. I didn't have a course. Well, I had a course for knitting editing, which helped a lot, but I did not have one for crochet. And I made a whole lot of mistakes and had to add things to my checklist because I would overlook turn instructions. I thought, well, everybody knows to turn, but no, you actually need to have turn instructions if you're working flat or in the round in turned rows. So yeah. I've made a lot of the mistakes to help you not have to make them.
This is a shortcut course. And so if you are here watching live, please throw any questions that you have for Melissa and I into the comments. That's why we're here. That's why we're having this session, is to answer your questions. So the first pattern that you work through in the course is a sweater pattern, which
Yes.
has multiple sizes. So the question that we
Yes.
always get is, will I have to know how to grade patterns to be a technical editor?
No. Grading patterns is a separate but complementary skill to tech editing.
Mhm,
So in the course, we go over how to check that the grading doesn't look wonky or doesn't have major errors in it.
mhm,
But you do not have to actually add the numbers to the pattern yourself. You just need to basically make sure that the pattern will fit the intended body that it's meant for.
mhm. Exactly. And let's see. I'm going to throw into the comments here where you can sign up for the course. It is open now through Saturday at 8 a.m. East Central Time. So check out that link in the comments section or in the chat section wherever you're watching from. So this is also important. You're going to be checking math and all the patterns, right?
Yes.
So how math savvy do we have to be a tech
So
editor?
I'm going to say most of the time you're going to be checking math. Unlike knitting, where you've got a set amount of stitches and you have to do something with all those stitches, sometimes in crochet we get what's called like a recipe type pattern, where you're going to chain to maybe the length of your waist or the circumference of your waist, and then you're going to make sure that you've got an even number of chains, and then you'll work a stitch pattern until a certain length. And the length doesn't even have to be a static number. The length can be work the stitch pattern until it hits between your waist and your knees, something like that. So most of the time I see static numbers. Every once in a while you will get a recipe type pattern where you have to read the pattern and make sure that the directions are very clear because there is no math involved. But yes, you do usually have to check some math. In the course, we do check math on a spreadsheet. You can use whatever spreadsheet you prefer. You can even use a calculator, or
Mhm.
even if you are very old school, you can use piece of paper and a pencil. However, it will be a lot faster to use some sort of a spreadsheet because spreadsheets are just typically faster than pencil and paper or even calculator. So the math that we use, though, is not trigonometry, is not calculus, is not even usually anything algebra related. Typically, what we have to do is check that the addition or the subtraction or the multiplication or the division is correct, and double check that the rounding or the conversion between imperial or metric is correct. And that's just multiplying and dividing, to go from one system to another. And we just check that that's all correct. We check that the rounding is consistent.
Mhm.
And that's about it for the math. It's not hard. It's probably everything you learned up to maybe 10, 11, 12 years old.
And you do have to understand gauge and how it functions on a pattern
Yes.
because
Unless
everything
it's
is
a
based
recipe.
on unless it's a recipe. Um,
Yeah.
because everything's based on the stitch in the round or the
Mhm.
rows, and the math is related to that. So that's mathy, but it's also part of working in a pattern and with a
Yeah.
craft, right?
Well, but it's still simply multiplication or division.
Mhm.
Again, it's not any kind of tricky, hard math.
Right.
And we do include a tips and tricks
Mhm.
spreadsheet module, bonus module. So while I don't teach you how to use a spreadsheet program, because that would be beyond the scope of this class, we teach you how to take the spreadsheet program that you already love
Mhm.
and use it to your advantage. Use it
Right.
for speed and accuracy and like making things more simple for yourself.
So again, this course is a shortcut. We're giving you
Yeah.
all the tools
Yes.
that we can give you in order for you to be successful as quickly as possible, so you don't have to figure it out on your own.
That was my goal, Sarah, was to make this class as streamlined as possible, get rid of all of the fluff, and just teach what we need to learn.
Yes. So we got about 5 minutes left. So let's talk about, well, maybe 10 minutes. Let's talk about the business side of things, because when you
Yes.
become an editor, you are not just editing, you're actually running a small business by
Yes.
taking on clients. So how can I get hired? That's the number one question we get is there work for me?
Yes.
And how do I get hired?
Yes. One of the reasons that I couldn't answer your question earlier, Sarah, about which pattern was the third pattern that we have is because I get hit with so many editing requests. I can't remember what I edited last week. So
I feel it.
I'd have to go back and look. They were 3 great patterns, though, 3 different types of patterns to give you practice with different sorts of designs. How do you get hired as a crochet tech editor? So there's many different paths for that, but they all lead back to the main idea of you have to tell people who you are and what you do, and they have to have a way to find you, meet you virtually or online, in person, and have a path from being introduced to I want to hire you. So however that path looks like, wherever it starts, you can have multiple different paths. You can have a path here on YouTube if you have a YouTube channel, pointing people towards a landing page or however you want them to contact you for editing. If you've got a Facebook page, you can point that to however you want them to contact you. It's just whatever works the best for you. And there are third-party publishers that will hire you. And I'm sorry, someone's a little high-strung today. There might be a cat. Hush.
So you
So
can get
yes,
hired by a magazine. When you say
yes,
third party, you mean magazine or book
yes.
publisher?
Yes, book publisher, magazine. A lot of times you'll start out working for independent designers,
Mhm.
and that's a great way to get some practice and get comfortable with editing. But you can watch online. A lot of times on the Tech Editor Hub on Facebook, there will be designers that pop in and ask for request an editor or request names for recommendations for editors. If you complete the course here at the Tech Editor Hub, then you can ask Sarah to put you on her working email list for requests that come in. And I'll let you tell them a little bit more about that, Sarah, since I don't handle that. But that's also another really, really easy way for designers to find you that's brand new.
Yeah, so if you complete the course, you get an invitation to join our private editor list. All the students who complete our Learn to Tech Edit courses, either knitting or crochet, can get on this list. And then I have a form on my website for designers and publishers to put in an inquiry where, hey, I need an editor for this type of pattern or this series of patterns. And you get a little bit of an email, or you get an email with the information, and then you can reply with your proposal for taking on the work. So
Mhm.
it's a system that I've set up because we didn't have that, right, Melissa? When we got
Nope.
started, we had to go find our clients. And this is
Yep.
just trying to make that connection a little bit better. This is what the Tech Editor Hub is all about, is making things easier for patterns to be better, however it is, for us to have successful businesses as editors, for us to make more clients, and also for the designers and the publishers to have an easier time of finding great editors who've had a little bit of
Exactly.
training.
And I think
So,
the key is there are great editors who have had training.
mhm.
If they submit a request to you, they know they're going to get a very well trained editor because the knitting tech editing course and this tech editing course have proven results that our editors are fantastic and they're very well, they're highly regarded in our community.
So I think the last question we have is, how can I build self-confidence? I think it's hard to be a beginner, right, at tech
Yes.
editing.
Yes.
So,
So you'll have the confidence that you're not going to miss anything if you take the course and you use the checklist that's provided, because I think we've covered just about everything under the sun that you could possibly encounter in a pattern. And then practice. We have the main pattern that we go through and we practice with that, and then all of our additional practice patterns, and you can practice with free patterns online. Just snag a free pattern and go through it with your checklist. I don't know that I necessarily recommend sending an edited pattern unsolicited to the designer, but that's another way you can practice. So all of that will build confidence, and the more you have success, the more confident you're going to be. So
That's excellent.
we do have a question, Sarah. When will the grading course be offered?
And I wish I could give you a specific date on that. I have a lot of life changes and a lot of changes in my online business, but the material is being created, and fingers crossed, you guys will be the first to know if you can sign up for the wait list on my website. It's coming. It's in process per usual. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if you are a knitting technical editor already, and you are interested in providing crochet as an also to crochet designers, Melissa has created a workshop just for you so that you don't have to come and take this whole Learn to Tech Edit Crochet. This course, Learn to Tech Edit Crochet, is for people who have no experience with technical editing. If you already are a working tech editor and you want to add crochet, I'm going to put it into the comments. There is a workshop for you specifically to double your clients with crochet. And so that's available there if you are interested in adding crochet to your knitting technical editing business. And we're about ready to wrap up here. Does anybody watching live have any more questions? We really want to hear them if you have anything specific for us. So tell us a little bit. What is your, Melissa, what do you think people get from taking the course? What is the transformation that they experience?
So I think that what I see consistently over all the hundred students or so that we've had is many of them come in and say, I'm not sure I can do this. I don't have any confidence. What if I mess up? And then by the end of the course, I've got many of those same students saying, I just got hired and I haven't even finished the last module yet, but I feel a whole lot more confident and know what I'm doing. And now I've got these skills that I've got this little budding baby business, and I can take these skills and I can grow this thing the way I want it to and the way best works for my lifestyle. And just by 7 weeks of going through and doing homework and being consistent with watching the videos and asking questions when they need help. So I love to see them grow and their businesses grow as well. That's probably the most exciting part of teaching this course.
And this is what I see too, is people have the confidence to start taking on clients right away. And we encourage you all to edit in the area of crochet that makes you come alive, that you have the most experience in. Like if it's toys or if it's garments or if it's whatever area of crochet, edit those kind of patterns first and get your feet wet right away. You will be able to take on clients as soon as you complete this course, because Melissa also provides all the background information, like what kind of software you need to edit, how to find clients. There is all kinds of information just to get you started. So
yes. And please, we've gotten questions too. Can I edit in a language other than English? Absolutely. Please take everything that you learn from this course if you sign up and use it. You can edit in English. You can edit in whatever language you like. Absolutely.
And signups are open through 8 a.m. Central Time this Saturday. So we are taking signups now on our website. I'm going to put the link one more time into the chat. And if you are watching this on replay and you have questions like, but how do I do this? Or do you cover this? please come and ask us a question. We have a form on the website on the sales page that is at the link in the chat. We are watching our emails. You can email us at any time. We are here and available for you to answer your questions. And Melissa, what if someone's not sure? Are you going to offer this course again?
Yes. So if you're not sure if it's not the right time for you, then we will be opening up the course again after the holidays in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking February, late January, February.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the time.
This course is not going away. We've had almost 100 students go through, which shows that people are ready to learn and want to become a crochet tech editor. There's a huge need for great tech editors in the industry, and we're here just to help you guys get there faster. So anyways, I think that's everything. Do you have any more that you want to share with us, Melissa?
I think we wrapped up all of the questions that we usually get.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Thank you all for being here live. We really appreciate your watching with us. And again, we're here if you have any questions. Feel free to email us at any time or throw a comment down below in wherever you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube.
We will answer it.
And we wish you the best as you begin your tech editing journey. We really are so excited to have more colleagues. And if you sign up, we'll see you in the course. It starts on Monday. The first module goes live. So thanks a lot for being here, Melissa. And
thanks for hosting, Sarah.
You guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Take care.